Hi everybody, it's Carrie and welcome to another video. Of course, if you can't tell, we are not in the yarn room right now. We are in the barn, but I figure a lot of people have said that in these vlogs they like to see more than just like the crochet work that I do. Like, it seems like people are also interested in like the horse side, which takes up my whole life outside of crocheting. I actually was unable to record footage for a vlog last week because I just got so busy and like, I don't know, I enjoy vlogging and everything, but then sometimes I'm like, do I want to vlog today? Sorry guys, that's a horse banging a bucket. I was gonna start vlogging towards like the end of the week because I was like, well, if I vlog like Thursday to Sunday, it will still be fine. Well, been having some difficulties with the horses, like kind of dealing with like, I don't even know, who even knows? Could be like a viral infection, sinus infection, tooth infection, like it could be so many things, we don't know. But I've been dealing with that, you know, that's been taking up some time. Like taking temps constantly, like every 2 hours, medication. And then we have another older horse that's having some issues, so I'm starting his meds and everything today. That's why I was like, okay, let me go ahead and record and get this vlog started, so then I feel like I should keep doing it some more. I've mentioned this before, but I have not great legs, and my ability to stand for super long periods of time, it just hurts a lot. So I'm crouching on the floor. It's much more comfortable. If you guys don't know me, my name's Carri. I run Traveling Pony Studios, which is a small crochet business. And then, as you can tell, I also own a horse facility. So this is half my barn. That's the other half of the barn. I was actually supposed to be a professional in the equine industry. I've been a professional for the past, I don't even know, almost 6 years. But I'm going back to being an amateur. I realized that maybe where I am right now in my life, I don't want to be a pro, just because I feel like I got into it so early and I just went all gung-ho. I was teaching a lot, I was training a lot, I was doing horse shows like every single weekend. It was a lot, and I think through the process I realized that maybe I don't enjoy that side of horses as much as I once did. I am gonna go back to being an amateur, which is basically means I'm not a professional. I can't teach, I can't train, which is fine. I haven't done any of that stuff for almost 2 years because I really hated it towards the end. And now my big fancy barn, because this was supposed to be like a show barn. Oh, my poor little baby pony's neighing, but I gotta wait for these guys to finish eating. My big fancy barn has become a retirement hospice place. So basically what that means is I get super old horses, or kind of like mediocrely old horses that are done being ridden, they're done being shown. A lot of these horses have a lot of issues. Technically, my horse is the youngest, Sloan. And then my baby down at the bottom is definitely the youngest because she's just turned 3. Basically, I get horses that are kind of like at the end of their life. Some are like really end of life, some are not. Some have years left in them, but pretty much they all have some type of issue. Whether it's like health issues or soundness issues, that basically means they need a lot of hands-on care. And that's one of the reasons why my barn only has horses on this side and not that side. I built the barn thinking I was going to be doing all this stuff and have all these horses, but then I realized the longer I've done this, that the level of care that I want to give the horses and my clients, having 16 horses is just not going to happen, because myself and then my mother, we both run this business and it's way too much to do between 2 people. I would literally have to give up everything. Like, I would never be able to crochet again. I would never be able to do like anything. Like, it would have to become my whole world, my whole life, and honestly I'm not willing to do that. Horses are great, but horses are extremely unpredictable, and that's one of the reasons that I have gone back and forth for so long and then have tried so many different things. It's just because they're horses. I tell people all the time, I've been doing old horses for a little bit, so you know, some horses are only here for a couple weeks throughout the end of their lives. Other horses are here for years. You can't trust horses, point blank. I have had horses that are like in perfect health you think nothing is wrong with them, and then the next day they're gone. That's one of the reasons I also got into crochet, is of course to help pay for my horse's own medical bills, but then also just I wanted to find something more consistent, or something that maybe didn't necessarily depend on another living, breathing creature like these guys. They're very expensive to take care of, and they are a luxury to have. So it's always a question of how long are people gonna wanna have horses? I think people are always gonna wanna have horses. The question will be, when will people be outpriced to have horses? Because taking care of them is extremely expensive, and not everyone has thousands of dollars every single month to spend on a horse. So that's how it is. But I think everyone's pretty much done eating, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab their food bowls. And then guys, I got something really fun. I decided to get a Cricut machine to make felt eyes. I have told you guys before, I was looking at doing the yarn, and I haven't found a yarn that I like. It needs to pass my test, which my test is super strict, and I'm not finding anything that's passing my test. So I'm trying to find someone who like can completely manufacture the yarn how I want it to be. It's just proving to be a challenge. And so I decided, you know what? I was like, I really want to do felt eyes because I'm starting to do a lot of characters and everything. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just buy the Cricut machine. So my hope is we're gonna try and test it out maybe today or tomorrow. I'm gonna make some anime characters. And then maybe this will be something that I can do outside of crocheting, especially when my arms hurt really bad. And it can be a way to make a little extra side income. So we're gonna try that out once I'm done with the barn. Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 29th of October, and I wanted to come on here and show you guys really quick because the last, I guess if we want to consider it studio vlog I was talking about the custom horse, and so I finally like gave in and was like, okay, I think this is the only way I can do it. Like I said, I was kind of like having some issues, and just because of the fact that the horse itself was just like so complicated, and I kept trying things and things kept like not working out. Finally, I ended up just saying, you know what, I just have to like make it. I gotta sew everything. I just gotta do what I think is best, and then I'll send the pictures afterwards, because I couldn't do, like I had some suggestions on that video, and some people were like, well, you can use it for like, do it white and then like use makeup and do all the spots. But this is not like a piece that's gonna go sit on a shelf. This is a birthday present for a little girl, so can't do that. So I still had to do it with all the yarn, because like this is not gonna be like a memorial piece. This is a living a living horse. These people just wanted to get her a birthday present of her horse. So I did have to still do everything with the yarn, but I'll show you guys what it looks like. If you guys aren't already following my Instagram, make sure you follow it, because I'm really behind on the videos. This content gets pushed out like way later, and a lot of times I forget to show things here on YouTube that I take pictures of and post on Instagram. And I just post a lot more frequently over there, just more like everyday things I'm making, all that type of stuff, because it's a lot easier and I don't have to think about it as much as YouTube. Make sure to follow me, because yeah, this has been done for like a week and a half. I already have posted about it over there on Instagram and TikTok. So this is what it ended up looking like. Let me pull that one back. So yeah, I ended up doing the speckled pattern throughout. I went back and forth because originally the face didn't have as much white as the body, but I crocheted like the ears brown. I did all these things where it was brown first, but it didn't clash well with the body because it was like super dark. The pattern was flipped, and then by the time you got to the body, it was re-flipped. I ended up just going, and I told the person, I was like, look, it's like I just had to carry through the same pattern on the body to the head and the ears because it looked way better. It looked so bad when I did it darker. Then what I ended up doing for the mane and tail was the horse just had alternating white and black. It's pretty common for Appaloosas. They don't have coats or hair that stays one color, so I did the alternating black and white forelock. And then for the tail, the top of the tail was white. So I did the outside of the colors to be white and then two beneath being black. This is the last custom that I have on my books right now. I could potentially have one more, but I haven't really like confirmed it or unconfirmed it. And then of course, I'm kind of backing off a little bit from the customs. I just felt like I had a lot of time before this November market, but because it is like, you know, like I said, it's the 29th, November's gonna be here, and then my market of course is like towards the end of November. It's the 23rd, so it's actually later than it usually is. So I'm kind of backing off on the customs, and then I will re-pick up custom work once I'm through that market. So I'll probably start doing some posting and stuff, probably I would say like maybe a week before that market to start getting things lined up, because I really don't have anything lined up. It's so funny. Last year, I feel like I was doing Christmas gifts in like, I don't know, I feel like I was already doing Christmas gifts. I had so many Christmas customs lined up last year. Like I remember it was crazy. And I remember December, I just worked and worked and worked and worked. And then, I mean, that's when I had that absolutely crazy, if you guys have been following the channel long enough, I don't know. Yeah, I made videos about it and everything. That was when I had that crazy college football bouquet order where I got the order in like Christmas Eve, and then I started like crocheting it Christmas Day because I was still finishing up my brother's Christmas present on the eve. But then Christmas Day, because I have even pictures and stuff still on my phone of me like sitting on my couch downstairs because we were waiting to do like Christmas present opening and stuff. I think I was watching Home Alone, and then I watched Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical and everything, but I have all these pictures of me like sitting there on Christmas Day crocheting these bouquet orders. And then of course I finished up it was 5 college football bouquets. It was Georgia Tech, Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, and then I'm forgetting Tennessee. So I did those 5 in basically, I think it was like 5 days, because I had to get them to him before New Year's Eve. So I was crocheting like a bouquet a day, and it wasn't just like flowers. Each one had like 8 flowers. And then from that, it had a football, and then it also had a, you know, like head of the football team. So for like Auburn, I did a tiger. For the Tennessee one, I did like that dog. Georgia Tech, it was like a bee head. So everything had like a lot to it. That was crazy. And I did so many crazy customs. I did the unicorn custom, which was the puppet. I did the truck custom, and I did those massive, like literally so big bunnies. They were basically from my head down to my waist. They were practically like living beings. Like they were bigger than kids. They were massive. I did so many crazy customs for my first year of crocheting, because at that point I'd only been crocheting for like a little bit, like maybe 7 months, maybe 6 months. I'm not 100% certain. And I feel so weird because like this year, I don't really have anything lined up. I don't feel like I'm accomplishing less because I know I'm doing a lot, but like, I don't know, it's a little weird to me. But at the same time, I know that if I were to like post on Facebook and just do a little bit of like marketing and put it out there, I could get the customs, but I don't know. It's a weird feeling. And you guys, if you haven't noticed in the background, I got a Cricut circuit machine. I don't know what it is. So hopefully in this video, we're also going to be going over some felt stuff. I kind of mentioned this. I want to expand my business into something that is not necessarily me having to make everything. Next year,
there will definitely be some changes to my business plan. I'm in a lot of stores right now. I'm probably not going to do much of any stores next year if I'm being 100% honest. I already talked about probably dropping most of them. Not because of anything bad, but just because I feel like I have realized some things about myself through the process. Kind of things that I already knew, but I wanted to test it out and be like, have I changed? No, I haven't changed. I have always been the business type of person. Like, let me put this down. I remember being a kid at like 8 years old, right? And just like constantly trying to create businesses. I don't even understand. Like, I was on eBay. I had Breyer horses growing up. I would make them all these like little halters and blankets and da-da-da-da, and I would sell them on eBay. And I mean, as an 8-year-old, I was killing it, if I have to be honest. I was making like a couple $100s off this. I would hand make all the pieces. I would do everything, take pictures, ship them. Like, it was just crazy to be doing that young. And then, of course, continuing throughout, I started my first official business, like business. I guess you could say at probably, I think it was around 13, 14, and that was buying horses and essentially buying them for really cheap. A lot of these horses had a lot of issues and needed like a lot of time, and I was willing to put the time in, and we would buy them, and then I would spend all this time on them, like take them to horse shows, and then we would later on sell them. And that was kind of like what also pushed me to now be doing horses and have horse barn, was that whole aspect of it. But I pretty much just worked by myself. Like, I would find the horse. I would do everything. I would beg people around me to help me pay for it, because I have all these investment portfolio books that I wrote as a kid, like all talking about numbers and investing and all this type of stuff. And as I got later on in it, I was able to purchase the horses by myself a little bit more. But when I was first starting out, I would like beg my family members and be like, hey, if you can give me like $500 when a horse sells, I'll give you $500 with like 10% or like 5% on top of it. And that's how I got people to invest in me as a kid. Everything was by myself. Like, once we got the horse, we brought it to the barn, you know, I did a lot of the care. I did all of the riding, showing. I can remember even being a kid, like when I was starting out, when people would call and ask questions about the horses and wanting to purchase them, like, I didn't have an adult doing it. I didn't have my mother per se. We tried it a few times because I was like, oh, I think it's better if they're talking to an adult, but then certain questions would come along, so then I started taking the calls. So, I mean, even as like a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, I was practically running it by myself in terms of like the sales and stuff. And then of course I got another job with my mom who helped me, and that was grooming at horse shows. And I did that for a very long time. I think I did it for like 4 or 5 years, and it was really hard work, very hard work. You aren't treated the best, but the money was money, and I desperately needed it to like be able to go buy something to then go sell and do all this type stuff. And it helped fund all my riding through my junior years until I was 18. And so throughout pretty much, I feel like most everything I've done in my life, I've always kind of been my own boss, if that makes sense. Like, I published a few novels. I was the boss. I would write the novels. I would then hire maybe somebody to edit the book. But in the end, it was all me. My teaching and stuff that I did, I was the boss. I had clients. My barn, I'm the boss. I have clients. So it's one of those things that I just don't know if I enjoy that much not being the boss. Because with the crochet business, is that if I'm just going to markets, and if I'm doing this online stuff, and if I'm hopefully going to do like an online shop, and then hopefully have like felt eyes and stuff, all these things, I'm the boss. When it comes to the stores, it's a little bit difficult because there is another player involved, and technically that person is the one in charge. Even though it's my products, I still have to go through somebody. And like I said, I haven't had any bad experiences at all. I just think there's a lot of things that maybe isn't up to what I would want it to be. Just a lot of it comes down to communication, because I understand like I'm not the only individual, but then at the same time as somebody who, like I said, has been their boss their whole life, when you don't have the full control, it's just not as enjoyable and you can't change things. So I probably am not going to be continuing with much of any stores once I get through my contracts. I definitely thought going into it, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I probably will do the stores and then drop markets, but that is probably not going to be the case now. And as for markets, who knows? I don't even know. I can't even be bothered to worry. But that being said, the whole thing is I did buy a Cricut machine. Yesterday, I played around with it a little bit and then realized I had the wrong heat transfer, so I purchased them off of Amazon. I'm waiting for it to get here. I think it's supposed to be here like tonight or something, so I'm gonna test it out. And I think that's gonna be something that I'm gonna explore because I think it would be a great thing for me to do like when my back really hurts and my arms are too painful to crochet, because I do have a lot of pain from crocheting. It just honestly depends on like what I'm doing. With my other job, like, you know, some days I gotta go move like 100 bales of hay and like throw all this stuff. Some days I get jerked around and thrown around by horses and they just hurt me. And so then it's like that carries over to crocheting. So I'm hoping that maybe doing the felt eyes would be less painful on me. If I feel like it has to be less painful, and it could be something that also I could offer people like who watch my videos or something that can actually be useful potentially to you, because it's like pretty much most of the people who probably watch me do crochet, so it's kind of like people are like, oh well, you must have like a really popular online store, and I'm like, no, because why would somebody buy from me? Like, we all crochet. You could probably just go to the description, find the pattern, and be like, okay guys, I'm gonna go make it. I'll be like, yeah, you go. Potentially the felt eyes could be something that maybe somebody could use, and it could lead to me expanding my business that way. As well with that, I'm still looking into the yarn. I want to run this by y'all and you can tell me your thoughts, because I realized I never did this, so let me grab some of it. The first set of samples I had come in for the yarn potentially, and I'll show you it, but the only hesitation I had, but I would love to hear from y'all. I still am 100% going to be exploring this because I want to exhaust all my options and see if I can find something or get somebody willing to manufacture a yarn that is a comparable size to Sweet Snuggles, which I'm finding to be very difficult because Sweet Snuggles, while it is a 6, the light and everything, I guess most of the world translates 6 to be like a parfait chunky, and which is to me that's really thin. I like my yarn just a little bit bigger, but I did get the samples in, and the biggest thing was it is comparable to parfait chunky on Posh. So this was the first batch I got in, and honestly though, like quality wise, it's really good. So that was the thing. I was like, oh, the strands are probably like a little too small for me. I'll show you guys. So that's what I'm saying. It's pretty much comparable to Posh, which I actually did crochet with Posh for the first time the other day. I did a mud kip with it and then something else. And I actually liked working with the Posh because it was 100 times better than working with like technically Sweet Snuggles Light, because it didn't shed at all and I could sew with it like super easy. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been able to sew this good before because it wasn't all falling apart. But the biggest thing was the size was just a little bit smaller than I really wanted. So I'm still looking at the yarn thing. I sent some things to a manufacturer today and was like, hey, this is the yarn I'm trying to get a little bit more comparable with opposed to this size, just because, yeah, I would like it to be a little bit bigger. So I'm still exploring that option. But if I couldn't find an option where I can get it as thick as Sweet Snuggles Light, is this something that people is potentially still interested in? Quality is like super good and it's super soft. Like it's actually a little bit softer than the Posh that I have here. So the quality and all of that is really good. It's just the size that I don't know if people would be interested in. It's literally like Posh or Premier Parfait Chunky. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. But let's get to work. Today I'm gonna be working on finishing up this Naruto. I actually did end up painting these eyes myself. I realized I didn't have blue, so I just went for a gray. And so I got the hair and everything sewed on yesterday. Pretty much the only thing I have left to do is the headband. I crocheted the headband per their pattern instructions, and it was like massive. I don't know, maybe I was like on something, but I'm gonna work on finishing up this today, hopefully. This morning I finished up the lavender cow. I'm almost done with the body of the flower crown cow, and that is my last 2 cows right now. So this was the original list that I had written out for my first set of things to make, and this is what we're looking like right now. Definitely a lot less, and I'd be able to like tick off the cows today, so really it's just like my hedgehogs, my Pegasus, hammerhead, lambs, pigs, bunny, moose for the large items. Now I can definitely go back through and add a few other things if I wanted to, or expand it on new patterns. And then really for small items, it's just like stingrays, sloth, pink turtles, pink whales, witch cat, pink axolotl, and I do have to make a witch cat, and I have to make a larger loaf cat that's a witch cat for a store. I guess the customer wanted witch cats and stuff, and they must not have any more in stock, but they want it for Christmas time, and they are gonna order it through the store. So I was just asked to bring those in so they could buy it. My plan is, it is technically 3:43. I have spent a good deal of time talking today, but I'm going to finish up the cows, and then we're gonna see if I'm gonna do something. Oh, I'm gonna finish up the cows and Naruto, and then I might knock out another small item. I haven't had a lot of motivation to crochet from this list, just because I feel like they're all quite boring to me. Like, you make the same thing 50 times and then you start to go, no, please. But at the same time, I know I need to do it, and I'm like, okay, well, technically a good deal of the items that I have on my list that I need to remake aren't in stores. So it's like, if I get it done, it's done. It's done. That's what I keep telling myself. Just get it done. I'm gonna put on some Twilight or Hunger Games. I'm finishing up Hunger Games right now. It's like my 7th rewatch of it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a Peter Malak girl. I read it when I was a kid. I can't hate. And then we're gonna see what else we can do today. Not certain if I'll be back on tonight. I might be if I get the Cricut machine. And also let me know, if I get the Cricut machine working and we get some felt eyes up in here, are y'all interested in like maybe a felt eye drop on Etsy? Because I feel like that'd be easiest. And I'm thinking about doing character packs. So like if you were gonna, I don't know, do like a Kurumi or like My Melody or Carri or Stitch or something, have it all together in a nice little, so all the pieces, perfect for one character. Let me know. Y'all, I never trust this. Every time, I've only done it a few times. Girl, I get so scared because look at this thing. It like goes back, right? And then see how it goes right there? And it'll do like a I don't trust it. Let's see, guys. This is a test run. I think it's working. Girl, I think that's bigger than what I want. Oh, guys, this is a learning experience. Besties, we're trying it again because it cut, but it didn't cut through. So I'm gonna try more pressure. Girl, she's freaking me out again. I don't like this thing. It scares me. Pretty certain is what? And look at this. What is it doing? Stop! I don't trust it. Me and this thing beef constantly. Girl, you're not pulling anything. What the heck? I don't like it. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay, we're in business now. Good afternoon, everybody. It is October 31st, so I guess I should say happy Halloween. I mean, by the time this video comes out, it's gonna be past Halloween, but happy Halloween, I guess. We don't ever do anything for Halloween. I can't even remember, like, even as a kid, we didn't really do anything because I lived in a neighborhood, but it wasn't a neighborhood with like a lot of kids. I think there might have been like 10 kids or something. It was a lot more adults. So even growing up, I never did much anything for Halloween, and especially now, we have a really long driveway, and we don't live in a neighborhood, and if somebody came up to my house in the middle of the night, I'd be a wee bit concerned. But I wanted to come on here and show you guys some things, and yeah, if you can't tell, back there has changed, y'all. So I ended up making a purchase for the business. I mentioned this before, I think in some of the earlier videos, that I ended up getting a Cricut machine, I think is how you say it. The main reason for it is I am focusing, like, of course you guys know, a little bit more on characters, like mainly just because I need it for the portfolio. And it's funny, it's kind of showing me that I definitely think that I need to make some changes next year, like I said, with the stores and everything, because I'm having so much fun experimenting and doing more with crochet and just pushing myself. Like, I think I have gotten too much in this like work mode mentality of the stores and the markets, where I kind of view crochet as an art form and a way to kind of like express myself, if that makes sense. Like, I know even though I'm like working through patterns or whatever, or maybe it's a pattern that somebody else made and I'm just like reading the pattern and I'm recreating it, it's still something that I do to kind of like express things, right? To keep my mind moving, my hands moving. I have had a lot of fun and more enjoyment doing these things and doing new patterns, doing complicated patterns, doing patterns that I wouldn't do. I 100% would do more of them if I wasn't having to market prep and store prep. I think the difference would be that if I wasn't doing the stores, I would pretty much just like hit whatever number that I need to hit on that item, and I probably wouldn't have to worry about it again until the actual market, right? But I feel like with doing all the stores and the markets, I can never keep up. Like, by the time I get the numbers up to where they're supposed to be, I have to go send them off somewhere, and then I'm having to remake it. So the amount of time that I get to like make new things or make things that I actually want to make, it's so slim. And so I've really enjoyed being able to do more. And so I ended up getting the Cricut machine because, like I said, I've been trying to experiment a little bit more and doing some character stuff, especially trying to get into this convention. And I wanted to get it for the felt eyes. I have been considering doing felt eyes for a little bit. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions on the felt eyes. Would you guys be interested in buying them? Because it'd be great, like, to pay back my machine, because it's not cheap to buy it. And then, like, the materials I had to buy afterwards, and I'm still having to buy a few materials because I don't like cheap things. Like, it's gotta be up to my standard, and that means that I have to buy new things because I don't like something, I just throw it out. So I got the Cricut machine and I was able to kind of make eyes on it for the first time. I think I showed you guys the eyes the other day. I don't have them on my desk right now, but I can show you one of the little creatures that I made that uses them. So I have two new plushies to show you. The first one is I made a Stitch. I almost called it Lilo because I was thinking about Lilo and Stitch. But I made this Stitch and this is from my machine. Yes, girl. Carri made those eyes after I had a full-on mental breakdown over the Cricut machine. I realized it was me and not the machine, which I feel like that would have been common sense. Carri does not believe in reading instruction manuals nor watching videos. I just am like let's just do it and see what happens. So I went ahead and I made this little Stitch. So yes, I made the eyes. I ended up, when I went to the store, I had gotten glitter vinyl because I thought that I probably would like glitter vinyl more, especially for black, because like normal black can be like a little boring. So I had bought this black glitter vinyl, I think like a silver, a gold, normal white, just because your normal things are probably gonna have white. And then I had also bought like, I don't know if it's a white or if it was like a cream with the glitter vinyl. So I went with a black glitter vinyl here and then this little square nose. But yeah, I think it turned out super cute. I used the pattern by Rin Meow. I've done quite a few of their patterns before, so I kind of knew what I was gonna be expecting with the amount of sewing. It's kind of one of those things that like you do certain creators patterns like so many times and then you just go, okay, well, I figure I'm gonna be sewing every body part on. It's just how it is. So yep, this one did require a good deal of sewing, but I still think it turned out super cute. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. Would you guys be interested in potentially maybe buying felt eyes like this? I was considering maybe doing it where I would have the felt eyes and then the nose and sell it in a pack. So then you could just make your own little alien and have it done. And I'm gonna be making, I think, like a few blueies I think I have on the books, and so I'm gonna make the felt eyes for those guys too, so that could be like another option. And I have to make some winter themed items for the stores, so I think I'm gonna experiment with it and then maybe also use the felt eyes and do little snowflakes in them because that kind of really gives off the Christmas vibes, and I think it's cuter. Like, I definitely think safety eyes has its place. And I feel like for small items, I 100% would like keep using safety eyes just because if they're small. Felt eyes, I feel like you kind of like, they look better if they're kind of like bigger, if that makes sense. Like not like, I don't know, like a 10mm, 12mm eye. I think it needs to have like a little bit more space and everything. But I'm definitely gonna try and experiment more with the felt because it is baby safe, and I think it gives a lot more like expression to a piece. And honestly, this sucker is like, you would have to like really sit here and pull at this thing. So what I ended up doing is it has a like a heat bond, whatever, on the back side of it as well. So it's not just like felt and then having the heat transfer vinyl on top of it. It has the bonding agent on the back of the felt. And so basically what happens, if I'm not mistaken, is when you do like hot glue or whatever to help put these safety eyes on, it actually like activates the bond and then makes it even stronger. Because I was like really surprised. I had bought felt eyes from somebody else, and I don't think I can actually take a little quick look because I have them over here. So these, you guys can't see, and my camera's not gonna pick it up. So this is a felt eye that I got from another person on Etsy, and it's also kind of different material. But this does not have a bonding agent on the back of it. This is just straight felt, which I mean, it's fine, but I definitely think doing the bonded, I can't remember, it's like bond, ultra bond, something. I definitely think that that makes it even stronger because like I said, it's basically when you read it, it's like you have the hot glue, it activates the bonding like adhesive on the back of that thing, so it's just like double strength. Because I did have problems with like this felt eye before not being the best, like it definitely peeled up a little bit versus, girl, once I put these suckers down and I had the hot glue, like, 'twas not moving. So please let me know if you guys would be interested in this. I would love to potentially like maybe put together a small group of sets, maybe like 5 of this, and then also to have maybe a few normal eyes. And then I'm gonna make a Kuromi and I think a My Melody sometime this week. So I potentially am looking at the same thing, or maybe bluey, make the eyes, the nose, have them be sets, and then normal eyes. So if you guys are interested, please let me know. And please let me know sizes. Like, what do most people get? Because I don't know, I kind of like, I know these guys' eyes are usually like massive, but I kind of like the proportions. Like they're not as big as some of the other ones I've seen, and I crocheted this particular one in Sweet Snuggles Light, so I do kind of know that what it looks like with Sweet Snuggles Light, and I like the size. So honestly, I'm probably gonna just go ahead and like make a few more for myself personally, because I have a feeling I'm gonna be making like 1 or 2 stitches, maybe 1 more before the next market. So this is the first one. This is the second guy that I got finished up. This is Naruto, and let me look really quickly. I believe, if I don't have the name pulled up on my computer, no, I haven't. So this is by Sweet Beans Crochet. I ended up getting the powder bundle. It was like 20 something dollars with the 2 other Naruto characters. Of course, like I said, trying to do the con and everything, I wanted to have some anime stuff as well. So this is one of those pieces. I painted the eyes myself. I don't use sinker eyes that often. And of course, I didn't do it necessarily the right color. Naruto's eyes are typically like light blue. I didn't have light blue glitter, so I went ahead and just did silver, but I don't think it's bad. It's kind of a cool tone. It was better than potentially using like a darker or a warm tone color. I still went with a cool tone. So I painted the eyes, did all that good stuff, and finished the sky up today as well. It was just, what was holding me back was the headband, because I had remade it like a couple times and it was just too big. So I was able to get it tight enough that it is still removable, because I was like, do I sew it? Do I not sew it? So it is removable, which is nice. Granted, I don't know why most people would remove it, but it does have that option. And then I was going back and forth if I was going to do a felt cutout for the headband. And then I just ended up deciding that I was just gonna do this gray piece, because I didn't quite have like a certain material to draw the design on, and then I was like, I really don't want to draw a design on. We settled with this. So I have this guy, and the stitch are the main ones I finished up today, and then I also made turtle parts, because I only have 1 more turtle color to finish up, and that is the 8 pink turtles. And then I started the body of this owl. This is the Crochet Grove pattern, and I am gonna do it to look like Hedwig from Harry Potter. Rin Meow also has like a lot of variety of patterns. I feel like I almost have all of their patterns. I just don't always make them because they do have a lot of sewing. So they've got some other like Harry Potter themed things, or Winnie the Pooh type things. So I might throw maybe like 1 or 2 of those also in, just because I'm gonna have the Hedwig. Yeah, I mean, the application's open up for this convention Saturday, so in 2 days, but I don't have to get it in necessarily that day. I think the application window is like 1 to 2 weeks. So I definitely am not gonna wait till the end, because I'm like crazy about timing. But I do want to just have more variety, and I think I've been able to do that. Like, I want to get another Pokemon done. I want to get like a Kurumi or My Melody done. I have a wedding I have to go to this Saturday, so I don't really know how that's gonna affect things. I get extremely car sick. Like, even just driving 5 minutes down the road, if I'm not driving, I get so car sick, and I've been having a lot of stomach issues with like nausea and I think acid reflux, so I'm gonna be so sick. But it is what it is, and that's basically my update for you guys today. I hope to have the Hedwig done tomorrow, and basically it's 9:30, so I think for the rest of the night I'm gonna start editing this video, and I'm gonna try and edit it a little bit different, guys, so please bear with me. Like, let me know if it's really that big of a deal. I made a post on Instagram yesterday and not many people seem to care, but usually when I do these videos I edit so much, and I still will edit, but I have this issue about like breathing. And it's kind of like, you know, people who don't like to hear like people like chew. I'm the same way. I don't like to hear people like chewing food. For some reason, I became super transfixed about breathing. So I spend so much time editing like the breaths out, which is what takes me so long to get these videos out, because I'm like, oh my God, girl, you can't breathe. So I'm hoping I'm gonna try and not edit as much this video and leave some of the breaths in, unless they're like really big breaths. So let me know, guys, if that offends you or not, because if it's not a big deal, that would be great, because then I could like produce more content and I would be okay with giving you guys longer videos versus right now when I see a 50-minute video on my editing software, I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna take me a week to edit this video. So I'm gonna get started editing and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good afternoon, friends. Don't ask me why we're looking so orange or yellow today, but we are. And the computer's on. Sorry guys, it's throwing me off now that we're in daylight savings or whatever, so it's like pitch dark so much earlier. When I go out to do my barn at like, I don't know, 5 or something, it's like kind of dark, and then by the time I go out to do my barn at 7:30, it's like all the animals are thrown off. I see them every night because I'm just invading their space now that it's so dark. But I wanted to come on here. It's been a couple days since I last did. I apologize for that. It has been a bit of a crazy week, and not like, oh crazy, I'm so busy, just crazy week. As I've mentioned many times before, I do run the barn as my full-time business, and I have such a niche business, I would say. When I originally started out, it was definitely not what I'm doing right now, and it was not niche like I am now, but I've definitely over the years become very like, I have my one thing that I really like to focus on and that I would consider myself best at, and a lot of people around me, like vets and stuff, they contact me a lot when they get cases that pertain to this because they know that it's kind of what I do. But I do a lot of retirement horses, which is basically older horses that are at the part of their life where essentially they can't be ridden anymore, whether that is because of like lameness, maybe they've got some other physical issues that prevents them from really being able to be ridden. And as well, I have done a handful of what I would consider hospice horses. These are horses that I basically know pretty much when they come in that their life expectancy is potentially shorter than some of the others. There's some that I've had come into my barn that are maybe only here for a week or two. And there's been a few that have come in as more of a hospice type of case, and they have lived a couple of months. So I just have all types of horses. Sadly, I feel like most of this week has been consumed with a horse in particular that has been having a lot of issues. We honestly, we don't really know for certain, but they believe the horse may have cancer. It's been a lot of like trying to help out in any way possible. Lots of vet visits, all that type of stuff until they can kind of have an answer and then decide what is the next appropriate step. So because of that, I have not recorded much lately. Really, I have been spending a lot of time with the horse and just trying to do what I can to keep the horse pretty comfortable. So it's been keeping up a lot of my time, but I wanted to come on here, of course. I need to film an outro. Apologize for that, guys. And then I'm also trying something different with this video to potentially not edit it as much. If you guys don't know, I can be a little bit weird about the sound of breathing. I'm one of those people who doesn't really enjoy the sound of like people chewing really heavily, like smacking their lips and stuff, or gulping water. I don't like it. So I think what I'm gonna try and do is, as long as my breaths aren't like super big and loud, I'm gonna try and leave them in, and then you guys can let me know how much it affects your viewing experience. The big reason that I'm looking at doing it is just because it would honestly make it so I would not have to spend as much time editing, and in turn would mean I could produce more videos and it would be a lot easier on me personally. So let me know if this video has been like horrible. If it has been, I'll go back to editing everything out, but keeping my fingers crossed. I also wanted to come on here because I feel like I was talking about felt eyes the last time, or maybe a little bit earlier in this video. Happy to say I figured everything out. So I'm very excited about that. And I want to show you guys what I made the other day. So I made this super adorable little stitch, and then I made these felt eyes right here. It has the glitter like that. So super excited about that. I might have already shown you guys. I don't know, honestly. It's been crazy. Like I said, I don't even know what date it is, honestly, or date. But I wanted to come on here and say, I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm not expecting this to do anything like crazy. I think I'm gonna do a small shop update. I've never done anything like this before because it's not really my business model, I guess you could say. Like, I feel like my business is centered so much around physical, like going to a market, seeing an item in store, any of those things. So I've never actually done a shop update. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 10 of these sets for the little alien. I'm gonna do them the exact same size as this. I think if I talked about this before, I made this plushie in Sweet Snuggles Light, and I think the eyes ended up being a really good size. And they're not too big, but they're not super small. I'll probably like actually get the dimensions. But I think what I'm gonna do is I feel like I'm gonna make 10 sets of these. So it will be the alien eyes and then the little nose. And then I'll probably list them up on Etsy. Granted, I don't expect anything really from it, but if they don't sell, I can just use them myself. I went ahead and bought a much higher quality felt as well. It's a little stiffer than just the generic felt. It's a little bit more expensive, so I think the quality will be a little bit better. Not that this quality isn't good, it's just, I think like I want it to be a little bit more white and not have any like see-through at all. So I did go ahead and do that, but I think that's my plan. I'm gonna do that, and then depending on how much time I have, I think I'm gonna try and do maybe a few Christmas eyes and just do like 5 of them, and maybe one other design, do like 5, and then that will be it. So it would just be a very small like felt eye drop. Like I said, I've literally never done a drop before, and I'm not expecting anything from it. But I figure if I put it up, then if somebody wants to buy some at some point, it's an option at least. And I'm just gonna keep it super manageable because of the fact that I have so much going on right now between this horse, and I have my market coming up on the 23rd. It's the 4th of November when I'm recording this. I have to bring things to stores. So I've currently been making Christmas items for them. Let me show you. I've been doing these little gingerbreads. So I made 6 of these guys today, and I'm gonna make, I think, one other pattern that I will give to the stores so they can have some Christmas items, because y'all know that I don't want to mess in the Christmas realm in terms of my market stuff, because then I'm gonna get stuck with it. But it's just been, honestly, it's been all over the place. I'm trying to keep myself motivated, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe doing this will keep myself motivated. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plan for the felt eyes to go on my Etsy on November 15th, and I'll probably do it, I'm trying to think, it would need to be at a time when I'm around. So I'll probably do it after my barn is done. So let's say 3 p.m. EST, Eastern Time Zone, or maybe 4 EST. That way I'll have plenty of time after I do my horses, and it will be fun because it's also my birthday on the 15th. So it will be just like a good thing to, I guess, make me look forward to the day, because I don't do much for my birthday, and we don't really do anything for birthdays, and every day is just another day of working. So I'm like, oh, maybe if I do the launch on my birthday and then if I sell something, I'll be really excited. And then my plan is the next video, I'm gonna focus on showing you guys me kind of making the eyes, doing all that type stuff. And then I kind of want to make certain I have at least those 10 eyes or however many eyes already made, so then I could just ship any, if any, sold. But like I said, I'm not expecting anything of it. I'll just make 10 stitches. I'm certain somebody will want a stitch. So, but I just wanted to show you guys the eyes again. I did them in the glitter, and I think that it turned out super cute. So, but I wanted to come on here, record this outro, tell you guys my plans with the felt eyes. So yes, I'm gonna shoot for November 15th at probably 3 or 4 p.m. EST. I would say probably like 3, unless something horribly went wrong that day. I hope not. But that's kind of my plan, and I apologize for being a little bit quiet. And I was doing really well with the videos, but I'm just kind of like tired, and this whole situation with this horse is just taking a little bit out of me. You know, we don't really know what's happening next. I kind of know probably what's gonna happen, but there hasn't been a for sure day or answer or anything, so that's just been taking up some thought in my head. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you guys are interested maybe in anything particular for the felt eyes, and then I hope you guys continue to have a great rest of your day and your week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!